Like, I've already dropped into a building. I'm on the first fucking floor. I'm checking into my hotel, and I just dropped dead from getting shot from a guy who shot me before I fell into the building. And I'm just like, wow, that's not supposed to happen. That's going to happen on Call of Duty more times than I'd like to imagine.
I think that it's amazing that we get to play games over the internet anyway. So there is a part of me that's like, as long as it's not systematic. Black Ops 2 for me, the lag and the horrific nature of me being host and it being completely unplayable is systematic. As long as it's not like that and it's occasional like it is in Titanfall, then I'm fine.
What about the target finder and the shield again, and then the noob tubes and danger close? Like, what are they thinking, yo?
Casual fun factor.
But I know. I mean, I can see the target finder. I don't like it, but the danger close, like, why is that in your game? I'm using it. Fuck it.
Because nowadays you're in the modern military setting, you're dropping bombs out of an AC-130 on some depraved civilization that doesn't even have the internet yet. Back then, it was a real fucking dirty, grimy... It was real shit back then. Now it's just like, we just go win everywhere. We just walk into places, clear everything out, it's over. There's no tension. There's no drama to it whatsoever.
So what you're saying is that real World War doesn't have a deep enough meta game.
I think
putting old maps in new games sometimes doesn't fucking work.
that's truer in COD than it is in Battlefield, in my opinion. Because the second assault maps on BF4 were my favorite maps, actually.
Metro is completely enjoyable with the V40 minis. We're just tossing that shit out like rice in a lemon. You know what I mean? RGO impacts, boom, fucking see you later. It's like the Nova bombs of Battlefield. You know what I mean? Like, the game is different in Battlefield 4 than 3 in Metro, especially.
That's a good point.
In 3, you never
stand
had those
corrected.
different types of grenades.
Yeah, you're right. The movement might be harder in Destiny, but there's no fucking possible way it's more competitive than CSGO. And just because you don't move up and down in CSGO, the movement's still pretty difficult. And I'm like, this motherfucker's paid off. Drifter, I'm calling you out. You can come on the podcast. Go right ahead. I might DM you next week. We'll have another high. We're aiming high for guests lately on LCP, I guess. But I'm calling you out, motherfucker. You can come on the show and debate me about anything.
I understand why people love it.
God damn it.
Eddie is gone again.
People love it. Every time you say that syllable, that shit freeze, yo.
He has an awesome freeze face, too.
Yes, he does. Look at that thing, man. Singing. Look at it.
He's getting soulful into it.
He's belting out the high notes.
Unless it's really dark.
Son of a bitch! What the fuck, dude? This has never happened.
What? That's what happens when I come out. As I'm telling you.
Chase is just gonna DDoS everybody in the fucking call eventually. This is my show now, motherfucker!
Right.
Potentially 6 people. You can't do that with the other one. It's impossible.
And yeah, it's not balanced, basically.
Just like in his videos, we only get Eddie 2 minutes at a time.
That syllable, bruh. Every time you hit that one, he freeze. Singing again.
Belting it out. Eddie, you gonna hang out with us for a couple minutes?
He been in for about 3 minutes now, so you start talking now.
Breaking the record.
I think we're safe as long as I don't talk.
Did you... This is cool. I actually kind of prefer this. I get to just look at and gaze at your beautiful face without actually having to hear you. Did you reset
Do you know
your
what
router?
this is? Can I just say why this is? I got right. This is the best DDoS story ever. I got DDoSed because I Moabbed someone in Modern Warfare 3 TDM. This is why this is happening.
The Virgin is
that's
out
fucking
there.
pathetic, dude. Don't they know that this game it's been out for 3 fucking years already?
It's
like,
3 years old, and
get
they're
over
playing,
yourself.
and they're playing TDM.
And
These
get
are-
Moab doing in TDM. Ass.
Yeah,
Straight ass.
I'm gonna knock you offline.
It's probably because you used an MP7 with Specialist, that's why.
I didn't. I used the UMP actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's respectable.
So now you have to make a video about it, Eddie, and you have to have that gameplay as the video so that you could publicly humiliate this DDoSing douche canoe. That's what it's got to be.
Well,
And then, obviously, the story is there, but you have to sit through the excruciatingly long cutscenes in every fucking single mission.
I thought you were going to say the excruciating gameplay
Oh.
to get to the story.
Well, they said the game starts. It doesn't start until you hit level 20. That's what the dev said. That's when the game starts. Once you level cap.
Oh God. Like
I mean,
like every MMO. They
yeah,
all
but
say
then
that
they said
kind of
it
shit.
wasn't. They said it wasn't an MMO too. That's the thing, though. So it's like you gotta figure. They need to figure out what they're trying to say. You said it's not an MMO, and then they said like most MMOs, it starts when you level cap. So it's like, guys, which is it? Like
Sold really, really well, right?
500 million, right? As they say yesterday.
It's not a failure by any means. And
No.
the beautiful thing is it's fine to have a type of game that everybody, your friends play, and it's kind of the lowest common denominator. Call of Duty was like that and probably still succeeds from the same principle, and there's nothing wrong for attacking that market, but what else can you do? It's kind of the question.
It's so weird because I expected YouTube to be littered with videos about Destiny
It's
in the
not.
same way that the beta was littered with videos about Destiny, but I only see a handful of it. So I don't know if either, one, people just don't really like it that much, or two, people aren't making videos about it and they're just playing the fucking game instead of
It's
wasting
so
their time
good,
making
they can't
videos
be
about it.
taken away from. On second thought, I don't even really care about Titanfall 2 because it's already coming out in November.
What?
Titanfall 2.
We talking about?
It's Advanced Warfare Titanfall 2.
Oh, I'm about to say.
Oh, yeah.
Over our heads, Frito. Over our fucking
Someone in the
heads, man.
comments got it. They knew exactly what I meant. Someone watched the video and got offended by how much I defended Black Ops 2 and decided it had to be removed from the internet. They were offended by
Yeah, but like,
the kid. Sneak was a kid. He's like 15, so he gets a lot of like adults who hate that he's successful and attack him for it. It's really weird.
Right.
It's like a
Okay.
weird child fetish thing or something. I'm not sure exactly what it's all about, but I don't understand it. But they take time out of their day to make his day worse because he succeeds and they don't, which is it's sad. If you can't just
beautiful.
embrace other people's success, I don't
Well,
understand.
that's crazy talk. That would be too much like the right thing to do on this internet shit.
We can't have that.
No, all right.
EA is fucking up shit again. I don't know. I blame people like Chase who buy EA games every single year and fund this bullshit NHL 15.
I haven't bought an NHL in like 8 years. I decided I didn't know. I should have known.
Just another sports game to throw on the
I'm
heap.
one of the people definitely responsible for this bullshit.
Brian, give me the lowdown on.
Hey man,
the-
y'all all got Battlefield though. Yeah, ha. Yeah, you got that shit too. There you go.
Every 2 years, though.
You still buy it.
Stop pointing fingers.
Yeah, right?
We'll get nowhere with
Titanfall.
this.
And Titanfall.
I returned
That's
it.
EA too. Uh-huh.
Well, EA Sports is separate than EA.
You say EA.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Umbrella.
You're right.
Yeah, but there's-
but
EA Sports, yeah.
EA Sports is definitely worse than EA as a whole,
They're
though.
the worst. Yeah, you're right.
There are a laundry list of features that was in NHL 14 that are not in NHL 15. This list is longer than Ron Jeremy's dick.
Oh,
Holy fuck.
They do stuff like the features we're talking about that aren't there. They'll take a feature out and reintroduce it 2 to 3 years later as a new feature.
It's
That's the type of
genius.
shit they like to do. That's their mode. So Madden or EA is focusing on Ultimate Team game mode. That's where all their efforts go. They can give a fuck about gameplay.
You know what? I honestly think that because the sports video game side of things is so separate to the main game media journalism, because this kind of shit gets revealed instantly whenever it's in any other kind of game, when there's these microtransactions or shit cut off. Even in that racing game that came out on the Xbox One, they were up in arms about this. But this shit's happening in EA games and nobody's saying shit about this. Like it's it's just fine. This is outrageous to me because they're building it like a free-to-play game, but it's a fucking full $60 release.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Well, the problem is, Frito, that there are no alternatives. Like Chase said, that
Monopoly.
Madden has license over NFL teams and players. NHL 15 has license over the NHL teams, and even teams that are like, in other international leagues. FIFA has the license to use the player names and logos of all these teams.
Tiger
So
Woods Gold.
if you want to play as your favorite athlete, there's no other way except to play this game. There's not like an alternative. Whereas in a game like Forza, which is I think the game that got criticized, there's plenty of other racing games that you can go
Good
play.
point. Sports games, they don't really do them justice, because not to say like, oh, they're nerds, they're gamers, they don't really understand sports, but kind of that, to be honest. Like kind of that. They play Dungeons and Dragons and all, more nerdy shit, which is fine because I'm into that shit too, but I also actually understand sports at a real level, you know what I'm saying? So because Game Informer or IGN, they'll give really stock reviews of these games where like it's almost like they don't even understand how to critique them and they just shove it out the door.
Imagine if you had to pay for gun packs in COD and you got random weapons. And
Exactly.
And you had to do it every prestige. Like you couldn't carry the guns through.
Yep.
Like so
the same
to get
thing.
the honey badger, it was chance. It wasn't leveling or anything like that. And the game played like absolute ass, and then they just kept taking features away. So all that was left was either just team deathmatch or a full game that you had to pay for over and over again, of which you've already paid $60.
And it's not even just that. Like you're also competing with other people who may have a better setup than you. So you're constantly pulling Black Ops 1 Uzis out of the fucking pack. This guy pulls an MW2 FAMAS, like with stop power. Like you're pulling perks and you're pulling all this shit.
Yeah,
But you're getting nothing.
Someone pulls Sitrep Pro from Modern Warfare 3, and
Right.
you get overkill.
Eavesdrop from Call of Duty 4.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was gonna say eavesdrop.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of sports games, though, you can't really push them back that much, right? Because then you already get into the season while the game is still not out. You know what I mean?
And
The NFL didn't give a shit that he knocked her out. It just was he lighting up a spliff when he knocked her out? Then the NFL would have cared a little bit more. You know what I mean?
women sometimes got to be put in their place, but drugs, we don't fuck with drugs because marijuana could delegitimize the performance of these athletes if we start allowing drugs and I'm trying to what's the buzz term? Performance enhancing drugs.
The only way that marijuana is a performing-enhancing drug is if there's a fucking Snickers bar in the end zone. Go get that shit. That's the only way marijuana is a performance-enhancing drug. This is the thing that I'm struggling with, and my main defense is that, well, Ray Rice is 3 times the size of that broad. I don't think you should ever, you should always pick on somebody your own size. But then there was that video that circulated around the internet where that tiny little bully kid was picking on the fat kid, and then the fat kid one day just snapped and picked him up and just power bombed him into the fucking concrete. And I'm like, that was completely justified, but then why is this action not completely justified in the same way?
If in fact, if it's true that she handled her business and they've worked it out and she takes 50-50 responsibility for doing whatever it took to antagonize him to that point, and they're like, we both have shit we have to work on, and they move on from that, why does he have to get kicked out of the NFL?
I thought he should have got suspended for a year for that.
But here's the thing, though, Chase.
But
If it's not a
indefinitely?
problem for the law, then why is it a problem for the NFL?
Well, right, I agree with that. And at the end of the day, it's a business decision about sponsorships and how they portray, how they treat women. It's not about actual discipline.
If the Players Association would be like, well, this type of thing is not written into the player contract. This player committed no crime, therefore I don't think he should be released from his contract.
Or how about, what if Big Ben was caught on camera fondling those girls that got all those accused? Is that the issue? I think maybe that's
I think it is just footage. I think that's what it comes down to is like footage. We had all these documents of people getting in trouble, but how often do you get to see footage?
Here's the problem with that, Frito, is that the reason why teams terminate or suspend players like this is due to the perception of that player's personality reflecting poorly on the team. Now, the player in
But
question...
why is that fair, though? That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm saying the player in question has different value to a team. Different players mean different things to different teams, and thus they also mean different things in the public's perception of that team. For example, Peyton Manning is the Denver Broncos or was the Indianapolis Colts back in the day. If he did something shitty, it would definitely reflect bad on the Indianapolis Colts. Whereas some third-string scrub backup fucking punter that only came out
Backup
when,
punter.
a
backup punter.
You're
not a football fan. That's impossible.
If he does something wrong, he is not the identity of the team.
The only shit that deserves a lifetime ban is OJ.
Or fixing games, man. Like you get caught like fixing a game.
Wait, you just put murdering your wife next to fixing games. That's pretty hilarious.
It's like a fucking Venn diagram of all the interactions and shit between the people. We need a fucking flow chart up in this bitch.
That would be hot though. A flow chart. I ain't doing that shit though. I'm surprised somebody hasn't done it. Everything else is broken down in depth. Do that.
The conflicting stories and the different perspectives. See, we can trace the gonorrhea that Zoe Quinn gave to these 5 developers. They reportedly had it